really shapes the world we live in, the companies we buy from, the news we read, and even our politics? Let's uncover the hidden networks of power and influence that affect your everyday life. What is the one world order? Is it a coordinated system of control, or simply the result of how modern global economics has evolved? When you begin to examine how industries are structured, a pattern starts to emerge. Many of the world's largest corporations, from food and retail chains to technology and healthcare, are not as independent as they appear. Ownership often traces back to a small number of major institutional investors that hold significant shares across competing companies. Firms like BlackRock and Vanguard manage trillions of dollars in assets. Through index funds and portfolio management, they hold positions in thousands of companies simultaneously. This doesn't necessarily mean they directly control day-to-day operations, but it does raise an important question. When ownership is so concentrated, how much influence exists behind the scenes? To make this more relatable, let's look at everyday examples. When you shop at a grocery store like Safeway, it feels like a local, independent experience. But Safeway is part of a much larger corporate structure, Albertsons, and when you follow the ownership trail, major investment firms often appear as top shareholders. The same pattern shows up across different grocery chains, meaning companies that seem like competitors may share some of the same large investors behind them. Another example is the tech world. Companies like Apple, Microsoft, and Google compete with each other, but large institutional investors often hold shares in all of them at the same time. This creates a network where a relatively small group has financial exposure across entire industries. You can also see this in media. Multiple news outlets may appear to offer very different perspectives, but many are owned by a handful of large parent companies. This can influence which stories are emphasized, how narratives are framed, and what information reaches the public. Even in your daily expenses, groceries, gas, streaming services, healthcare, money often flows through interconnected systems. For example, rising food prices might seem random, but they can be influenced by global supply chains, commodity markets, and decisions made by large financial institutions investing in those sectors. Politics is another area where this becomes visible. Running for office requires significant funding, and campaigns are often supported by donors, corporations, and political action committees. In many cases, wealthy individuals and organizations donate large sums to support candidates or causes that align with their interests. While this is a legal and common part of the political system, it can create a sense that influence follows money. And as the saying goes, there's no such thing as a free lunch. Financial backing can come with expectations, priorities, or policy preferences that donors hope will be represented. This doesn't mean every decision is controlled, but it does highlight how incentives work within the system. When funding plays such a large role, it can shape agendas, messaging, and which policies gain traction. On a global level, economic policies, trade agreements, and financial markets are deeply intertwined. Decisions made by a relatively small group of institutions can ripple across entire countries, affecting prices, jobs, and access to resources. To some, this looks like coordination. To others, it's simply the natural outcome of globalization and capital concentration. There are also ongoing discussions about elite networks, leadership circles, and high-level meetings where influential figures gather to discuss global challenges. While some of these forums are public and transparent, others are less visible, which can lead to speculation about their true level of influence. When you step back, the reality beneath the surface can feel very different from what we see day to day. The products we buy, the news we consume, the healthcare options available to us, and even lifestyle trends are all shaped, to some degree, by larger systems and the people who have influence within them. Billionaires and major institutions can impact everything from food production and pharmaceutical development to technology platforms and information flow. At the same time, it's important to keep perspective. Individuals may feel like they have little power in such a large system, but awareness still matters. Understanding how influence works helps people make more informed choices, whether that's what they buy, who they support, or how they think about the world around them. It's important to separate verified facts from assumptions. Yes, wealth and power are concentrated. Yes, large institutions have significant influence, but the extent to which this equates to a unified one-world order is still widely debated. What matters most is awareness. Understanding how systems are connected, financially, politically, and socially, allows individuals to think critically, rather than passively accept surface-level narratives. The world is complex. Power structures are layered. And while not everything is controlled, not everything is random either. So the real question becomes, how much do we truly understand about the systems that shape our everyday lives? This video is not about telling you what to believe. It's about encouraging you to ask better questions, do your own research, and stay curious. If you found this video insightful, please like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments. Your engagement helps us keep exploring these important topics together.